Today, the National and County Government Coordination Summit has taken place, chaired by His Excellency the President. And some of the highlights of today's meeting include what has already been read in the communique. Number one, that the process of unbundling and transferring functions from the national government to the county governments, which has been ongoing, have achieved tremendous progress. And today, a Gazette notice has issued on all the non-contested functions which have been transferred, and consequently, therefore, in accordance with the Constitution, the resources that were available for the discharge of these functions, the process of transferring those resources to county governments must ensue immediately, as already read out in the communique. Number two is with regard with the disbursement of the equitable share of revenue. As you're aware, due to a number of issues that affected the transition from the last financial year to the current financial year, there has been some delays in disbursement. And when we had IBEC on Friday, IBEC had resolved that by Thursday, 19th of December, the November disbursement be released to bring the release of funds up to speed. The Treasury has worked hard over the weekend, and that money will not have to wait for the Thursday deadline. It will be released today. Thirdly, there are a number of projects and programs where national government and county governments are working together, and therefore the summit has directed greater and seamless coordination of those programs, mainly the county aggregation and industrial parks, the affordable housing program, and the modern markets program, which are being implemented jointly by the two levels of government. So the summit has directed that there be greater and more coordinated approach to the running of those programs for purposes of delivering those services, and also for ensuring that both levels of government are satisfied that their input has been reflected. The other thing, perhaps, which I want to highlight is the issue of subsidized fertilizer. Again, this is another area where two levels of government have been cooperating. Again, the summit has pronounced itself on what needs to be done going forward, even as we expect another contingent of subsidized fertilizer to reach the country in the next 2-3 weeks. I think the key issues are around the last mile delivery and the roles of both levels of government in ensuring that our farmers get fertilizer. I think other than that, the other issues have been raised in the communique. This has been a very productive meeting. We are happy. And just by way of summary, as I finish, just to say that this summit is not just a ritual. This is a demand, a requirement by the Constitution that the two levels of government must work together through the spirit of consultation, cooperation, mutual respect, and coordination, so that the people of Kenya can benefit from devolution. And that is why, therefore, in the communique, one of the things that have been emphasized is the need for not only promoting consultations, but also strengthening the institutions for that consultation and cooperation, ensuring that the sector forums, which are specific to sectors, IBEC and other structures, are progressed harmoniously, and where there are differences of opinion, as the Constitution demands in Article 6.2, we must resolve those issues amicably in a spirit of mutual respect and avoid competition, conflict, and confrontation. Any level of government, any arm of any level of government, including independent offices, who pursues confrontation, conflict, is undermining the Constitution, which calls for coordination, collaboration, mutual respect. And if there are things we cannot resolve through alternative dispute resolution, the only adversarial arrangement or forum which is allowed for is the judicial intervention. And even that we are saying there is no need for us to reach there if we can resolve these issues amicably. Thank you very much. Those who opposed devolution during the constitutional making process tried to argue that devolution will work against the unity of the country. 13 years later, 14 years later, we have established with certainty that, on the contrary, devolution is one of those governance principles and institutions that has helped to build on our national unity. The Constitution anticipates that the various role players in the devolution family will have issues and matters that require discussions and consultations. And that is why under Article 6(2), the Constitution demands, and also in Article 187, that wherever issues arise, the two levels of government and other role players in the devolution architecture must engage each other in the spirit of consultations, cooperation, mutual respect, and collaboration. It is in that context that the national and county governments coordinating summit is established, and therefore our convening here is a testament of the vibrancy of our Constitution and is in line with what is expected of us to ensure that devolution works not only to affirm our national unity, but also to expedite the development of our country by decentralizing decision-making and also dispersing power and resources closer to the people.